Hey guys, I'm shooting a video right now, and I've been wanting to shoot for a while. I watched a documentary on suicide, specifically teenage suicide, and one particular. Sorry, I'm driving at the same time, but one girl had put herself at 16 in front of a train, and there was a string of suicides. Anyway, it's called "There's No 3G in Heaven," and people commit suicide for a variety of reasons. And disclaimer again: I'm not a doctor. I'm just a sufferer that's heard hundreds of stories, if not thousands, over the past 8 years that I've been really in the thick of things, and then been diagnosed clinically with depression since age 8, but really took hold later in life. I was self-medicating and doing some self-harm stuff, when I would drink a lot through college. But anyway, the one thing I've said, and I've said in other videos, is that there's hope, even when it doesn't feel like it. And I'm learning a lot, because I really dove into trying to make myself physically healthy, and I focused on that part of me, but I never focused on the spiritual and the mental side of things, and which is really where the core of the issues are, with my anxiety and my fears and my depression. And all suicides aren't caused. What the heck is this blinking light? Okay, so all suicides aren't caused necessarily from depression. I think that people assume that. I had a friend recently commit suicide, and in his note and in our correspondence, it wasn't because of depression. It was because he had been suffering with depersonalization and some other psychological issues that were very hard just to live with on a daily basis. Of course, there was some depression mixed in there, but I know exactly how that feels, because I know what depression feels like, and when I get hit with it, for me it comes in it's not a constant thing. It comes and goes. But when I feel it, it's like a wave of melancholic darkness, and it feels like my brain is just, everything is dark. I don't know who I am, and sometimes it can feel almost like my actions are not myself, and that's a scary feeling. Like I might do something that's not really me. That's something that I might do, and that's really, you're gonna do something that you're kind of like out of it, and you're not acting in your right mind. Depression can do that to you. But some people kill themselves because of chronic pain, or some people kill themselves, like Robin Williams. His wife came out, and a lot of people are saying, oh, well, he killed himself, he was depressed. Robin Williams was not depressed. Robin Williams was sad. Oh my gosh. Sorry. Literally at a cemetery right now. He was sad because he had dementia, and he was rapidly losing his mind and forgetting who he was. So he was just trying to out himself before he completely lost touch with himself and who he was and who his family was. And actually, 80% of Americans studied fear dementia more than they fear death. So So there's something to be said for that. So you don't have to necessarily be depressed to commit suicide, but specifically depression, for a majority of people, there's hope. Medications help a lot of people, and a lot of times it takes multiple trials of medication, and then you don't have to be on them forever. Some people can find other modalities, but when you're facing a serious, life-threatening, suicidal situation, it's very important that you seek like immediate help. Even if you're scared, if you're not in your right mind, you just need to reach out and get help, because you want to wake up tomorrow. And even if that's waking up at a crappy facility somewhere, because, blah, 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 you're still waking up, and you're going to get through it, and you're going to look back on it, and you're going to be able to be like, wow, I made it through that. And the people that, have lost the battle, they're not going to have that moment. And you're strong. You're stronger than you think you are, even in your darkest times. And I've reached out, to Jesus, and I was not a religious person, never was, but recently been getting closer to my spirituality, and I've proven God through science, and I went through that whole period, but I still struggle every day, and I have a lot of friends that are struggling. And I just wanted to shoot a video just to say, if you need help, immediate help, then get get help, because there's always another day. And even when the days after days after days after days suck, you need help. You need to talk to someone. You need to talk to a professional. You need to get professional help. And if you do try medications, you need to make sure that you are around somebody. You're documenting your side effects. If you're having increased suicidal thoughts, then you need to talk to someone and probably switch medications. There's so many things out there that can help nowadays. And for me, it's been books. I'm not saying, quit meds and read books, but there's a lot of really helpful books about healing the mind and stuff like that. And a lot of my depression or really a lot of my suicidal ideations come from, similar to my friend, suffering from cognitive decline and PTSD related to chronic pain, so it's a little bit different. It manifests for me. So depression, in a lot of ways, or can be symptoms of underlying causes. A guy could be depressed just because he doesn't have enough vitamin D, can cause the same sort of depression as somebody that was abused, whereas the vitamin D deficiency can be easily cured with a supplement, and whereas someone who suffered chronic abuse is going to take a lot of therapy and different maybe forms of medication, because a lot of the depression is caused by lack of neurons and neuroplasticity and damage to the hippocampus from chronic stress. So it can, and there's genetical factors. So everybody's different, and that's the one thing about depression. It's kind of like a chronic fatigue syndrome or prostatitis. These diagnoses they're not all caused by one thing. Like I said, just like anxiety. Someone could have anxiety because they got in a car wreck and now they're scared to go out, and that can lead to agoraphobia and be a spiral effect. They're going to need a different sort of therapist, a different treatment modality than someone that was abused for years, an abusive relationship, or and then in the case of just vitamin deficiencies, that person might really do well with a nutritional or natural approach. But in all these cases, there's varying degrees, and if you're suffering from a standpoint of like immediate emergency, you need to get that help. If you're suffering with symptoms, you need to get help. It's better to tackle it at its, when it's just starting to get bad than to wait for it to get really bad. Because you can act in ways that aren't yourself. Anyway, I would urge anybody to go out there and get help if they need it, and there's nothing wrong with it. And try to figure out and really hone in on what it is for you that might be causing your anxiety and your depression, whether it was a bad weed trip, whether it was abusive relationship, whether it's negativity in your life, lack of spirituality, whether you're eating Kentucky Fried Chicken every day for the past 20 years. There's always a root cause, but we really have to get in touch with our spiritual centers and have a sense of community. We have to try to reach out and be social even when we don't want to be. There's a lot of things we can do. I would read The Depression Cure. Depression Cure is an amazing book. There's a lot of great books out there. Becoming Supernatural or Being Supernatural. You Are the Placebo. All great books for anxiety. Books like At Last Alive are really good. Anyway, God bless you guys. Hang in there. Just please hang on. It gets better. I tried to commit suicide a couple times, and I've had good days and good periods since then and made memories, and sometimes I slip back. Some days I feel like I'm getting better. Some days, but overall I'm progressing and I'm getting better. I did have that sort of breakdown a couple years ago, and it's been a slow progress, but I try to remember and keep track of the progress. I don't focus on the past, but I do remember sometimes when I don't feel well, I'm like, oh, well, look at all that I'm able to do now that I wasn't able to do then. So anyway, just work on yourself, focus on progress, thankfulness, find some good books to read, whatever you need to do to get better. But if you're in a dire situation, go seek help now, because you're gonna thank me. You're gonna thank yourself, and just try to imagine your future self, and your future self being free of the depression, free of the anxiety, free of the chronic pain, and just picture that person every morning when you wake up, throughout the day, and just work towards becoming that person. And know that person will be you, that person who is whatever you want to be, who is successful, who is pain-free, who is has children, who is able to go do all the things that you want to do. Like in my situation, I want to have a family and I want to travel, and because of some of my physical issues and stuff that I've had over the years, I've really postponed a lot of those things, and I'm working towards them. But I picture my future self as traveling the world without fear, without restriction, and that'll be me. And I'm working every day towards that. And if it's starting with just being able to go to a local park, then being able to go to a different state, that's where you just got to take baby steps. God bless, guys. Take care. Subscribe, please. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers so that I could do mobile live feeds. All right, guys. Good job. Bye.